Last Week Tonight host John Oliver went after MAHA's creator, HHS Secretary John F. Kennedy Jr. Oliver concedes RFK Jr.'s Make America Healthy Again movement has admirable goals, but makes the case that admiration is doing the opposite. Take a look.
It's cancelled $1 billion in funding for schools and food banks to buy food from local suppliers. And at the same time, it's made cuts to SNAP eligibility, meaning there are fewer recipients of free breakfast and lunch at school, which I guess is one way to accomplish MAHA's goals. Kids can't eat any food dyes if they're not eating anything. They are shredding the social safety net while elevating voices that push the responsibility for health down to the individual. What I'm really saying here is, in its current form, MAHA is not about making America healthy again. At best, it is about laundering the reputation of an administration that is doing the exact opposite.
Conservative author Vanna Hari reacted, posting, quote, "When John Oliver's team reached out to me to ask for comment, I laughed and hit delete. Weak attempt to undermine the most successful measures to change our food system in history." And the Vigilant Fox account posted, "What a joke." Thank you for remaining vigilant, Fox.
In the intro, I said John F. Kennedy. I want to change that. Obviously, I'm talking about RFK. Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I think a lot of what, as a mom, I can just look at this, and when he started to introduce stuff, RFK Jr., like getting the dyes out of foods, that people argue the level of harm that they do, but still getting them out if they do any harm. Let's get them out of there. When you want to get overly processed food from school lunches, that's something that I love as my daughter begins kindergarten soon. This is something that I would love as she gets in the access to the lunchroom, that she's not eating nonsense. Like, these are all things that he's pushing that I actually do like. But then on the flip side, there's always, the critic in me that has looked at his history and how he's behaved over the last few years, even leading up to having this new role, which is being a vaccine denier, cutting funding from places that I think could do well with the research money to actually find new solutions to old issues and new issues. And so there's a lot of what he's doing that I don't agree with, and leaving it up to, like John Oliver was saying, up to us to make all these decisions. Sometimes it could be a good idea for parents to decide how their kids should be governed, but also at the same time, like if vaccines actually help a child, or not eating processed foods help a child, then let's just have it happen. Because other countries are much healthier than us, which has always been problematic to me as I travel around and see, oh, they don't have this stuff in their food, we do. Like, why would we suffer here when we are supposed to be the world's superpower?
Mm-hmm. Well, we could just we could stop subsidizing unhealthy additive. We subsidize corn, for instance. That's why is it not natural sugars or anything? Well, we subsidize corn, so there's corn syrup and everything. Stop doing that. A. B. But John Oliver says there, oh my God, it's so awful that your health is now being put down to your own responsibility or the family. Well, that is where the responsibility belongs. For me, ideologically, I don't think it's the government's job to make you healthier. The government could certainly stop subsidizing things that are unhealthy in order to make them more likely. Also, if the products are so much better in Europe, we could ship them here. The FDA could relax the restrictions on how you have things. I mean, they put, they get cheaper medicine. Well, okay, if the FDA gets out of the way, we could import medicine from Europe. It's the same medicine, they just charge them different prices and equalize the price. The reason we can't do that is the FDA has a restriction on it. So there's a lot of ways I hope government gets out of the way, and this is why I was always a little skeptical of RFK Jr., although I appreciate a lot of what he had to say about COVID pandemic mitigation efforts. I don't agree with him, everything he said on vaccines, certainly, but I appreciated him on the health scene. However, he also has a history of getting the government more involved in energy and environment and health that are frankly just big government progressive ideas. So I was wary of that taking hold, but so far I see a lot of working with companies and trying to make it easier for them to do the right thing and have healthier ingredients. And that's great. That's exactly what I want from the administration.
I mean, ideologically, you could say yes, leave it up to the American individual and the parent to decide how to govern themselves and their kids when it comes to health. But when you think about things like vaccines and things that have been required for decades, new viruses that are coming back and being issues again that we have eradicated for years.
Not against this. He had differences about the COVID vaccine. But
well, he said multiple things over years from
that he has no opposition to. That he's said for measles. He's given given statements saying the vaccine
we need to make
is a
sure that's
great
effective,
option
yes.
to stop the spread of measles.
But when you provide doubt for people to think that, people are not working hard in our government agencies to come up with solutions to protect all children in the schools or protect children as a whole, or even adults as a whole, I think that we have to, he's one of the number one critics of these agencies that do come up with these solutions, and these doctors in turn, because by criticizing the overall agency, the doctors feel like they're getting attacked. They went on record saying that. No, he can criticize, but the point is we have to allow someone to come up with a solution, because we are not doctors. So when you give the American people the autonomy, it's like, all right, people can give their kid Benadryl for every single sickness, but that doesn't help. Your kid's going to fall asleep and just be lethargic, and it maybe not have an allergic reaction, but it doesn't solve all things. So the autonomy is good, but we need to make sure that we have some guidance from real experts and doctors.
That does it for us today on Rising Live. Look out for more exclusive YouTube content coming your way in just a bit. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe to The Hill's YouTube channel so you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we're now available anywhere you can find podcasts. And we will see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.